Okay, good morning, good morning, good morning. It is Saturday, the 16th. We are past the halfway mark for the month. My name is Nicole Whitlock, and I'm with eCom Sellers. And this is our weekly ecom planning session. So I come to you every Saturday to talk to you about e-commerce, to talk to you about making intentional decisions in your business, to help you. Oh, I was not live, so let me start again. Good morning, good morning, good morning. This is Nicole Whitlock with Ecom Sellers, and this is the weekly ecom planning session. So I come to you every Saturday to talk to you about planning for your week, making intentional decisions in your week. So, so I'm with Ecom Sellers, and my passion is helping people reach their goals. If your goal is to be $1 million seller, my passion is helping you to get there. I find that the most effective way to get there, outside of some of the tactics and using tools, is to actually plan for your future success. And so today we are going through that process of planning for next week. And I hope that you find this information helpful. We are live on Clubhouse. We're also live in the e-commerce planning Facebook group, and we're also live on my Facebook fan page. You can connect with me by going to ecomsellers.com and clicking on coaching. So you can schedule a 20-minute coaching session, and we can go through and look at your business and see if you're engaging in the activities that are going to help you to become that $1 million seller if that's your goal. You can also connect with me on Clubhouse. And if you go to the e-commerce planning Facebook group, you can download the weekly ecom planner and the weekly ecom checklist, so that way planning checklist, so you can step through today's exercise with me as we go through and make some intentional decisions in our business. So every day this month, we've been taking on one new tactic, one new thing that we're reviewing to help us to get to our goals and to help us to be more consistent in our business. Every day, there's been a specific topic. Sometimes it's organization, sometimes it's time management, sometimes it's productivity, sometimes it's consistency. And today's topic is around focus. So if you're challenged with being focused and being consistent about being focused, um, again, we are live in the e-commerce planning Facebook group, so you are welcome to join us there. So we're going to start with that review real quick, and then we're going to jump into the weekly checklist. So the first thing, it's I am on Entrepreneur Magazine, and I'm reviewing it from Entrepreneur Magazine. It says use these 8 focus tactics to become a more productive self, to become your more productive self yet. So that is the article. We're just going to look to see what the 8 focus tactics are. And then from there, we'll step straight into planning for next week, because we got a lot of stuff to plan for. So the first one is to focus on what you can change and not what you can't. I so 100% agree with that. Sometimes we do focus on things that we don't have any control over, the things we can't do anything about. So I talk about all the time that emergencies, you can't do anything about planning to deal with emergencies. So you can't focus on how emergencies impact your business. What you can do is the things that you are aware of that impact your business, those things you can control. So if a supplier runs out of inventory and you've been staying on top of, your awareness of what's available, and you have like 2 contingency backup suppliers for the same product, or 3, and that product is in demand, then and they're completely out, again, there's some strategies you can employ to try and get either a similar product or try and find it elsewhere. But if you are completely out of luck, there's nothing you can do about it. The things you can't change, don't focus on those, don't dwell on them. Do what you can and address what you can, and just let it go. um, Focus on past successes and not past failures. I think that is a good idea, although we are going to look at lessons learned. I think that reviewing lessons learned when we do our monthly planning is going to help us make better decisions in the future. But focusing on your past successes is very helpful and very beneficial. Um, so if your past failures have nothing to do with anything that you had any control over, I wouldn't even focus on those. The things you can control, I would focus on that. The next one is one thing at a time. I think this is around multitasking. A lot of us think that we can multitask, and that's just not the game. That's just not it. Multitasking is not going to help you get anywhere faster. You just have a bunch of stuff that you started and you haven't finished. So the goal is to actually get stuff finished. So let's get some stuff finished. The best way to do that is to set aside focused, dedicated time to complete one task at a time, or one activity that's going to, especially something that's going to involve a significant amount of your time, focusing and concentrating on it. The next one is focus on solutions, not excuses or blaming. Yeah. Can't focus on those excuses and you can't blame other people. You can only focus on what you can do and what you can control. So don't do that. Focus on actions, not distractions. Yeah, absolutely. I encourage people all the time. Again, what are the daily actions that you're performing in your business that you can control? The other thing is getting rid of or minimizing the distractions. So, if social media is a distraction for you, if your kids, we love them, but sometimes our kids are a distraction. So, what are some of the strategies you can implement so that they can be a little less a little less distracting to you in your business? Or could there be changes that you can make to your schedule to help you to be a little more productive so that maybe you get to spend a little more time with your kids? Because sometimes they're in need of attention and focus as well. All right. The next one says to focus on what is yours to do and not others to do. Yeah. So if you've outsourced aspects of your business, and the best thing you can do is just to check in on it to see how it's going, but you can't dwell on those things. If it's not working out for whatever you've outsourced, then find a replacement. So in this example, they're talking about, accounting and bookkeeping. If you used to do accounting and bookkeeping, but you've been blessed with the opportunity to outsource it, somebody else is handling it, then let them take care of it. Don't micromanage your accountant. If you hired a professional to do it, then trust that they got it. If you've hired your VAs to do things, after you've trained them, you've got your standard operating procedures, you put together your documentation, they've got all their Loom videos, and you've allowed them to run with the bulls and Pamplona on their own for a while, then don't go and interrupt them. Let them do their job, is because that's what you're paying them to do. Now, if at any time you feel like they're not doing it, that's a different story. But let people do what you've hired them to do. Same thing with other professionals. Like you hired a graphic designer to do some work on some of your product images, or if you've hired someone to do your copywriting. Like, okay, if you've hired a professional to do it, let them do the job, and then you can review the work and move on. But don't spend time focused on all of that. If you're to trust it, let it go. Let it go. That's part of the automation process. Focus what you can give, not what you can get. Yeah, I actually agree with that. I think that um, focusing on what you can give to the process. So we're going to read what they say. So to totally succeed as an entrepreneur, you need to make sure that you're giving your clients and your customers more than they expected or more than anyone else. Your focus needs to be on them, not yourself or your own success. I know it sounds backwards, but it's true. The more you can give, the more you will get. Um, yeah, I think sometimes we get distracted comparing ourselves and our results to somebody else's, and we cannot do anything about that. All we can do is give the best of ourselves to the process, whatever the process is for us that we're working on, whether we're focused on, and let whatever happens. Create your best listings, create your best titles, source your best products, do what you can, and not worry about everything else. All right. So I think this was a short list. It's a nice list. It's Entrepreneur Magazine. And the topic was, or at least the headline, if you want to go read it yourself, use these 8 focus tactics to become become your most productive self yet. So, with that being said, you can come and read that at your leisure. We're going to go ahead and get started focusing on our weekly planning checklist. So the weekly planning checklist, I've always gone over an hour, so it's 7:26. Let's see if we can knock this out. We're going to try to keep it under an hour. The first thing on the agenda is for you to compile. Now, this is the weekly planning. You can download this document inside the e-commerce planning Facebook group. So in the weekly planning, we have being intentional every day. Incremental improvements implemented over time can reshape your future business 1000%. It is all the little things. So, everything you do in your business, inch by inch, I refer to that as inch by inch, those little moments in your business where you are executing on a regular basis, those are the things that are going to change your business. If you think of it like weight loss, you're not going to lose weight. You're not going to drop 50 pounds after working out once. It's just not going to happen unless you sever an arm or a leg. Then you might be able to knock that out. But it is all the little incremental steps that you're taking every single day that's going to help you get to your weight loss goals. So it is the getting up to exercise, drinking water. Um, it is eating better, making better eating choices every single time you sit down and have a meal. It is all of the little things combined together over time that's going to help you get to your ultimate goal of losing 50 pounds. That's how that works, and the same applies to your business. So we're not going to try and tackle this all at once. We're literally going to make some incremental improvements in our business over time. And it's all of the little decisions that we make that are part of that process. So the first thing is we're going to build our weekly template, our guide. And this template is a list of activities or actions or tasks that you already do every single day, every single week, every single month. So these are things you already do. Think about everything you do in your business every single week. If you're already listing, when do you normally list? If you're already doing shipments, when do you normally ship? If you're already, creating listings, when do you normally create your listings? If you're already doing product research, when do you normally do that? So think about those things. We're actually going to create a brain dump document with this information. So if you've already created your weekly template, that's great. Then you can move on to your actual. But for those who have never created their weekly template, let's start with that. So the next thing is everything you need to do every single week in your business. So if you're not consistent about creating listings every single week, really you should be doing it every day. But if you're not consistent about creating listings every single week, that's something you need to do in your business. And then everything you want to start doing in your business. Maybe one of the things you want to start doing is creating standard operating procedures, SOPs, so you can eventually outsource aspects of your business to a VA. So these are things you want to start doing, but maybe you're not doing them right now. So we're going to do this brain dump. We're just going to start creating a list. I would encourage you to grab a Google Sheet. And if you have a Gmail account, because the one thing I love about, all the Google products, Gmail, all of the Google Docs, Google Sheets, is that you don't have to spend any money on Microsoft Office tools and pay for a subscription every single month. Google's giving you that stuff free, okay, or pay for it a subscription every year. And the other thing is that with Google, you can access this from your mobile device. You can go through and look at your Google Docs and your Google Sheets directly from your mobile device. You can look at it from your iPhone, your iPad, your Samsung, your Android phone, whatever. I have an LG. Whatever you have, you can look at these documents directly from there. So you don't have to spend any time, trying to install something or, okay, I have to wait till I'm at my desk. Google Documents you can access from anywhere at any time. So even while you're on vacation. So I use Google Documents to get work done with my VAs all the time so that way I can work from anywhere. And as long as you have an internet access and a mobile device, you can download it from Google Play or iTunes. It doesn't matter. So anyway, so if you don't have access to Google Sheets, or if you want to use your eCom planner, you can use your eCom planner to actually do this as well. And inside the eCom planner, there is a weekly planning section, and so you can fill in your weekly template. And we've broken it down by morning, afternoon, and evening, and every day of the week. So it gives you an opportunity to fill that out. So you can use the physical planner or the digital planner to fill in your weekly plan, your weekly template. So if you're going to use Google Sheets, go ahead and open up a Google Sheets. You can click on um, the plus sign at the bottom of all your Google Sheets, so you can use that to place all of this information that you're about to dump from your brain. And let's get started. So I want to show you, if you have not already done that, I'm going to open up my Gmail account. I have no idea what's in here already. I'll actually open it from my son's school instead of my personal one. So when you go into Gmail, there's a bunch of stuff in here because we had an art this week, our IEP. Um, I call it clicking on, once you go to your Gmail account, click on the grid or the Rubik's Cube. So it's the little 9 boxes grouped together. I call that the Rubik's Cube. And then once you click on the Rubik's Cube, you can click on Google Drive. When you click on Google Drive, from there, you can click on the plus signs. Evidently, my son was interviewing me for something last year or 2 years ago. Uh, so you click on the plus sign to create new, and I am going to click on Google Sheets. That way, I can start the process from Google Sheets. So the first tab that we're going to use, and you can name it your weekly, um, your weekly planning template if you want to, your choice. So up at the top, you can just click in there and you can call it weekly planning template. And then at the bottom, you have your first tab. If you left click on the first tab, you can rename it and you can call this your brain dump. And these are all the things that you already do, need to do, want to start doing in your business. Then there's a little bitty plus sign next to that, and you can click on the plus sign and you can rename that and you can call this your weekly template. So we're going to create a template so we can make some intentional decisions every single week in our business. All right. So now we have two different tabs, a brain dump tab, and we also have a weekly tab. So in that brain dump tab, you literally can start uh, doing, listing everything that you already do, need to do, want to do. And you need to also indicate when you do it. So if you start from the left to the right, so if I already do these things, let's go ahead and document that. Why do we want to document what we already do? Because of the fact that we are trying to make this transition to being more consistent, more focused, more organized, as seamless as possible. If the things that we're already doing is serving us well and it works well with the rest of the things we're working to implement in our business, then we're not trying to upset the flow of our life. We're not trying to swim upstream with the salmon. We're not. We're trying to do as many things as we possibly can in the same order or sequence that we already do them naturally. So I'm not trying to have you forcibly implement something that's going to create a lot of extra stress in your life. That's not the plan. Okay, so then we write down the things that we really need to be doing, and maybe we're going to write down when. We might propose. We don't know when because we're not doing them, so we don't know when. But you do know some of the things you already do that and when you're doing. So maybe on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays you create listings. Write that down. Maybe on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays you ship items. Write that down. So we're just going to make a note of the things we already do. Okay, and then things that we want to do. So um, that could be anything from, maybe you want to get better at keyword research or product research. Maybe you want to get better at sourcing. Maybe you want to get better at, or you want to learn how to do drop shipping or maybe print on demand. So you want to try a new e-commerce method. So write down the things you want to do because those things matter. You may not implement them now and you may not implement them next week. It could be something that you use for next month or the following month. So that could be part of your long-term strategy. Okay. So do your brain down, fill in the columns going down of things you already do, need to do, and want to do in your business so that we know what those things are. And then we're going to assign when we actually do those. So let's go back to the list. And as we look at the list, as we talk about this brain dump that we're building, what are the activities, tasks that you already do every week? And then we said the ones you need or must do every week. Okay, if you want to have if you want to get to be $1 million seller, there's some stuff you need to be doing every single day. Okay, and so we need to make sure what those things are, things you should or want to do, and then the activities that are related to your personal life and those categories. So here's the deal. A lot of us, when we build our schedule in a vacuum. And we don't incorporate or fold into our life like, if you're making cake or making dough, you got to fold these things into your life. We don't incorporate the things that are part of our personal life. Look, my kids are part of my life. They're not just part of my business life, they're part of my personal life. And so, them being or existing in this world, I have to account for them. I can't just build a schedule that's just focused on 100% on my business, because that's not real life, especially when I'm trying or working to get more consistent and more focused in my e-commerce business. My kids are going to be part of that process. They may be the distraction. There may be an emergency where I have to go deal with that. So I want to account for the things that I'm aware of. I got to take them to the doctor. I got to take them to the dentist. I've got to, figure out my strategy for working with them on the weekends when they're home and out of school, or this summer. So they are part of your life. So incorporate them into this process. You also want to make sure that you're not, working so much that you're ignoring or neglecting your family or your personal life. Okay. So what are the things that you're doing for your spiritual life? Maybe you love to read the Bible. Maybe you like to Bible study. Maybe you like to go to church. Maybe you meditate in the mornings. Write those things down. That is time that you're allotting for in your life, and it is an important part of your life. So if meditation is your thing in the morning before you get started doing anything, then do that. Okay. And we don't want to stop those things that you're already doing. Okay. Personal, maybe you do some personal development reading. Maybe every Wednesday you go to lunch with your best friend. Again, we're not trying to disrupt your life. What we're trying to do is build a schedule that incorporates aspects of your life that are important to you and that are valuable, so that way you can continue to work your business in the midst of all the other stuff that's happening in your life. Okay. So we're bringing order to what may be chaos in your life right now. If you're very organized already, then this is not, you're not bringing a lot of extra order. You're just reviewing what you've already pulled together. But if you have chaos, if you feel like you're not as productive, you're not as focused, you're not as organized, you can't seem to figure out how to get more things done, it could be that you have a lot of things going on in your life and you need to sit down and do a brain dump of all the things that are happening in your life first, and then build a schedule around that. So I will tell you, I'm an extremely busy person. I have my two kiddos that I focus 100% on. This week has been one of the most challenging weeks for me in a long time. Um, so I have my kiddos that I focus on. I have a nonprofit that I work with the president on. I'm the VP of a nonprofit. We're trying to coordinate a special needs Easter egg hunt. In addition to that, I'm running my e-commerce business. I have two VAs that do, well, technically three, one, two. So I have two VAs that are in India that do data entry for my e-commerce business, and then I have two people locally, my son and another young lady who work in my e-commerce business. And then on the other side, I have a team that works on the e-com seller side of the business. I have three people that work on the e-com seller side of the business. And so I am multitasking and juggling all the time, multiple things. I have to make sure that I'm accounting for all of those activities and actions that are happening in my business. So this week or this month has been heavy on the personal side because it is Autism Awareness Month. And so there's a lot of things that are happening, a lot of things that I do. In my life around autism awareness this month. And in addition to that, and it's also a very busy month for our nonprofit. And this is also the month in which my children have their school reviews. So if I didn't incorporate other things that are happening in my life into my schedule when I built my schedule for my business, I would just, if I would, it would feel like total chaos. It would feel like I'm not getting any traction. I'm not getting anything done. In addition to that, taxes are due this month. So April is just a crazy, insane month for me. It is. It just is. And that is part of what happens in my life. There are aspects of it that I can plan in advance for. I could plan, more in January, February, and March. So then that way, maybe April is a little bit less stressful. But I've embraced the fact that there's always going to be a lot more extra stuff that I've got to do in April than any other time of the year. Also in April, we're pretty much trying to finalize or pull together the summer schedule for the boys as well. So there's just a lot of stuff that happens in April in my life. So if I were to ignore that part of my life, then I would be going, okay, well, I didn't get anything done in April because I had to do all these other things. No, You know that there are a lot of things you have to do in the month of April, so plan for those things so that you can continue to run your business. Okay. And then you have financial. So maybe there's some financial things that you're doing, some financial decisions or activities, your personal finance, not your business finance. And so taxes are one of those things on the personal finance side. But there may be some other things that you're engaging in. Maybe you buy multiple properties. So maybe you're a real estate investor. Maybe um, you invest in cryptocurrency. I don't know. And so there may be some things on the financial side, or there may be some decisions that you need to make. Maybe you're saving to buy a car for your child because they're going to be graduating from high school. So again, those types of things. The next is fitness and health, and this may be around exercising. This could be you exercising daily or weekly, or it could be and maybe you're not exercising and you want to start. These are things we're going to put under the want column. It could be that maybe you want to do a better job of meal planning, and right now you're not. So you want to actually do some meal planning. I will tell you, meal planning like saved and changed my entire life. The fact that we cook for the week on Saturday is just, and we're going to start some of that on Friday, but Saturday is just, it's such a time saver for the rest of the week. Nobody wants to finish working and then cook, be in the kitchen every single day, and then you got to clean up every single. Like, I just don't want to even do that. I'm not interested. You can, order some of those meals to go, where you just stick them into the microwave or whatever. But meal prepping for the week is extremely important to me. It takes me about 3 hours to engage in meal prepping for the week, and then I don't have to cook the rest of the week. It's just all about letting the boys microwave things. And so, if you want to get to that point where you're streamlining and automating aspects of your life, the only way you're going to do that is to actually plan for it. So that is one of the things that I do. So think about, what are the personal and health related things um, that you're either already doing, want to do, or need to do in your life. And then family and household. So, one of the things we do is like, okay, we prep for the week on Sundays. We prep for the school week. So we get the school clothes out. We look at the weather channel and we check what's happening so we can plan our clothes accordingly for the week. We go through the process of pulling out and putting together our snacks so that our morning routine for loading the lunch pails, or our nighttime routine for loading the lunch pails, is much faster. We do meal prepping, which is what I said before. All of those things that are family and household, and then making sure that you have some time with your family where you're not focused on the business. So having that dedicated family time where you're just there and you're present. I think there are times when we do things in our life and we're just not present with the people that we love. And then as we get older, at some later point, we'll regret those moments that we really wish we were more engaged or more present with our family, because we were just hustling so hard and we were so distracted and we were so, um, trying to achieve a goal that we just completely overlooked the fact that these things are important. Their perception of what they remember as kids when they become adults is extremely important. So making time and investing time in your family and kids, or even if you have a pet, maybe you have a dog and you've been neglecting your dog because of your business. I understand the grind. I understand the hustle. Trust me, I do. Not getting enough sleep. Like, okay, I'm raising my hand here. But as part of this journey, we want to incorporate as many things as possible from our personal life so that way we can build that into our schedule and our routine for our business. So then the next thing on the agenda is to step through all of these business related activities. We're putting this on our brain dump. So our sourcing activities, the things that we would be looking for or researching the source for the next 2 to 20 weeks. So 2 to 20 weeks in advance. You can go 2 to 30 weeks. It doesn't matter to me. But, I'm always thinking about when I'm in the current quarter. So we're in quarter 2 now. So I'm always thinking about the products that I will be selling in quarter 3. So I'm always a quarter in it ahead. And, when the pandemic was crazy and the supply chain was super messed up. I mean, it still has some kinks here and there. But when the supply chain was super messed up, like, I'm thinking 2 quarters in advance. So that's the reason why I always plan that far in advance for what I need to be sourcing, what I need to be selling, what I need to be creating listings for, what I need to be doing product research for. And so you figure out what your strategy is going to be. But that's how I roll. I'm always like a quarter ahead, and sometimes 2 quarters ahead. So What are the sourcing activities I need to engage in? What are the things I need to be ordering next quarter or the following quarter? Um, what are the upcoming holidays, events, seasonal things? So in my weekly planner, my ecom planner, we actually have a huge dump of daily holidays, weekly holidays, monthly holidays, international holidays. Like we have a huge dump. And so again, using that as a tool to help you make better choices around sourcing. And again, that depends on your e-commerce method. Maybe you've got private label and you've already decided what you're going to be selling, so maybe that's irrelevant. Maybe you're not selling products. I refer to it as just in time. So those things that are going to sell in third quarter, those things that are going to sell in fourth quarter. So maybe you're not that person to sell those types of products. Maybe you have a completely different approach. Maybe your focus is on replans or consumables, and that's fine too. Again, I still think about what are those things that people are going to be buying in third quarter or fourth quarter. What are those, replenishables, the consumables? What are they going to be buying? Wholesale, drop shipping. Maybe there's some wholesale and drop shipping opportunities. This may be the opportunity for you to sit down and establish a wholesale account with a new wholesale supplier every single week. If you do that, then you have 52 suppliers at the end of a year. So you have 52 options available to you. What are the products or the niches that you want to focus on? So again, going through and what are the sourcing activities you want to engage in, private label or white label opportunities. I definitely use the holidays list and the upcoming events list to decide, from a print on demand standpoint, what I'm going to be doing. And so again, it makes life a lot easier because I know what is going to potentially be selling. I'm investing in things that I know that are eventually going to be selling. And so I'm working towards being in the flow or the stream of money all the time. I want to be in the flow and the stream of money. People are going to be spending money on this, so I need to sell these types of products. I'm not trying to be so much that I'm going to be, it's going to be saturated. So I focus on those types of things. And I hate the fact that allergy season is happening. So it doesn't matter. I'll start the whole conversation and then I will start to get congested, which is really crazy. So I'm sorry about that. Research activities. So the research activities for me, the three big ones are product research, listing research that's needed to create listings, and keyword research. So we're selling keywords. People are going to a search engine, whether it's the Amazon search engine, the eBay search engine, Walmart search engine, Google search engine, Pinterest search engine, and they're typing in a list of words for a thing, whatever the thing happens to be. And the search engine spits out results. So, what are the things that people are searching for? And so that's the reason why keywords are extremely important, and also product research. Where can I find, what are the products that people are looking to buy, and where can I find those? So, on that, maybe you're using a tool, but that's fine. It's still an activity that you're engaging in. Listing activities, creating titles, descriptions, images, price, setting your price, cross-listing on multiple platforms, or using multi-channel. So maybe you are, listing on Walmart and Amazon using a specific listing tool. Some of this involves tools. Maybe you're creating product videos. All of these are listing related activities. And so these are things you're doing in your business. So as we do this brain dump, like these are things that we're thinking about, things that we already do, need to do, should do, want to do, all of that. Shipping activities. So you could be, shipping to Amazon, and for Amazon FBA, just so you know, Amazon increased fees by 5%, but that's a whole nother discussion. Or you could be shipping to WFS, which is Walmart Fulfillment Services, or maybe you've got your own fulfillment center. You got your own 3PL. And so third-party logistics. So it could be that you are your inventory is going somewhere else. So maybe you need to check to see when it arrives and all of that stuff. That's an activity in your business. Okay. Whether you're doing the shipping yourself or somebody else is doing the shipping for you, this is an activity, and you need to stay on top of your business. So you should know when things are getting checked in. If you ordered from your wholesale supplier, did it get checked into your, your warehouse? And if so, great. If not, you want to make sure there's an audit or a reconciliation of those things to make sure that what was shipped actually got checked in based on what the expectation was. And then maybe you're doing seller fulfilled. That's you shipping it to the customer yourself. And that's fine. It's okay for you to be doing seller fulfilled. Just write down what you're doing. So seller fulfilled involves, you shipping it yourself, picking it from wherever you've got it stored, however you've got it organized, and being able to, create your shipping label, finding a box for it, and putting it in there. I will tell you, whenever I source, I think about the box in advance because shipping is an expense. So I'm not sourcing things that I don't already have a shipping solution for. If I don't have a shipping solution for, I will put it down. I am not interested in sourcing that. So again, I always think about the box before I even think about whether or not I'm going to put it in. Think about the box and I think about the demand. The demand and the box. Those are the two things. And then I look at, okay, if the demand is high or the demand is coming and I have a way to ship this thing, then I think about, okay, now I'm ready to source it and list it and all that other stuff. And what I think about the price too, whether or not it's profitable. So I start with the box though. I start with the box, and if it's something I'm gonna have to make a box for, I'm like, the cost of that. Like how much of my time I'm gonna spend doing that. And then confirming shipments were received and your shipping audits. All of these are activities in your business. The administrative stuff. This is the stuff that people run away from. So it's probably under your need to do column and not necessarily under the already do column. But but you've got platform reports. So depending on which platform you sell on, are these things that you're already doing or you need to do or you want to do in your business? So you got platform reports, filing taxes. I talked about that. A bank reconciliation or your bookkeeping, your accounting, because you got to reconcile some stuff. Balancing your budget, tracking expenses and your receipts. What's your strategy for that? And do you have that activity listed on things that you're doing in your business? Ordering inventory, checking expiration dates, auditing your inventory, creating standard operating procedures so that way you can outsource parts of your business to somebody else, or what the expectation is if you outsource it. Reviewing and auditing your prices. Maybe you have a tool for that, but that's fine. You still got to check on the tool every once in a while. Analyzing your data and reviewing your stats. Like you should be going back and assessing, how profitable you were or you are, what's happening with the product. It shouldn't be a surprise to you when you start getting organized in your business. It shouldn't be a surprise to you that you're out of inventory for something that's selling like hotcakes. Like if you're checking the data every single day, you're going to see the trend immediately that this thing is hot. And so you're going to immediately start ordering more inventory for that so you have backup or either create backup sources for this particular product. It shouldn't be a surprise that you wake up and go, oh my God, I had like 2,000 of these and they're all sold out. That means you're not paying attention to what's happening in your business. So these are activities that you should be engaging in from an administrative standpoint in your business so you know where you are all the time. Then customer service related activities, handling questions, returns, refunds, things like that. Customers ask questions. The questions that they ask could be useful to you to help you build better listings. So I use that to my benefit. If they're asking you about size and color or dimensions, you're not going, okay, probably should have included that. Or can this thing be used for blah, blah, blah? Yeah, that's actually a pretty good question. And maybe that's another keyword that you're going to add to your listing, or long tail keyword that you're going to add to your listing or your description, so that way if a product serves multiple purposes or could be used for multiple things, that could be helpful for you. I'm also looking at customer reviews as well, so that helps with and improving the listing as well. Education activities. So what do you want to do better? What do you need to understand better? What do you still need to develop or learn? Look, we can all get better at what we do in our e-commerce business. There's different pieces of our business that we can get better at. There are things that we can outsource so that way we don't have to deal with them anymore because they give us a headache or they're annoying or they drain the brain, or it's like, okay, this is a low hanging fruit activity. And so the fact that it's a low hanging fruit activity, I could invest my time and energy in something else that produces me more money. If you think about what you do in your business and you put an hourly rate to it, those things that have a low hourly rate attached to them, those are things you should consider outsourcing. Things that have a higher hourly rate to them, then those are things that you probably should focus on. Not saying that you can't outsource those too, but the things that are low hourly rate, find somebody else to do that work for you. Okay. So put a value on your time and put a value on the activities that you're doing in your e-commerce business, and then figure out what those are, and then figure out how you can automate or streamline them. So the things that you need to do better in your business, maybe you need to get better at keyword research. Maybe you need to get better at product research. Maybe you need to get better at finding sources, sourcing. Maybe that's one of the things that you're weak in. Maybe you need to get better at ads. So we need to make a note of those things because you should be setting aside some time every single week to get better at something in your business because incremental improvements over time is going to change your business. It really is. It's going to change it. So if you worked on getting better at keyword research and you focused on that intentionally for 1 quarter, that's 12 weeks. What do you think is going to happen to your Q4? If you worked on getting better at creating ads, Facebook ads, Google ads, Instagram ads, Pinterest ads, whatever, YouTube ads, you got better at creating ads and you did that for 1 quarter or 2 quarters. What's going to happen to your Q4? Your Q4 is going to completely be reshaped because of the fact that you were intentional about getting better at something. You were intentional about focusing on a specific thing. So I want to encourage you to write down the things that you want to get better at. If it's a long list, we're not trying to eat the elephant out at one time. We're going to gradually whittle away at the list. Some of the things we'll be able to focus on for 1 quarter. That means 12 weeks. Some of the things we're only going to be able to focus on 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 4 weeks at a time. And that's okay. Again, we will see improvement, incremental improvements, even if we focus on it for 4 weeks instead of an entire quarter. So write them down. And then the last but not least is your marketing or traffic related activities. So if you don't have any money to spend on ads, that's okay. Focus on the things you can do to drive more traffic to your listing. So the things you can do is get better at the keyword research so you can have better titles over time. Hi, Nicholas. After I get done. Not right now. So Nicholas is up. And he's my son. And I didn't shut my door because I needed to know when he's up. So anyway, the other thing, and I'm sorry, he's looking for my charger. It's in the other room, Nicholas. You're gonna have to go get it out of the other room. All right, there we go. So focus on the things that you can do that will get you some organic traffic. Keyword research is going to help you with organic traffic using the keyword research. Like you can do the research, but if you don't use it, then it doesn't help you. Okay. Cross listing, maybe that can help you increase your traffic. Running your listings through Pink Farm, that can help you get traffic to your listing. So all of the little things that you can do to help you to get traffic to your listings, great. You may also be able to, use coupons, put some stuff on sale, create some video marketing, do some email marketing. These are all things that you can do that don't cost you a boatload of money. Create a blog or, social sharing your specific products, sharing your products out to, influencers, getting them. And you're going to pay a little bit to get influencers to promote or share your product. Optimizing your listing, reviewing your listing, and maybe making some changes. So outside of paying for ads, there's some things you can do organically. And are you making time to do those things? Are you? If you're not, something to think about. Back to listings, like, okay, relisting items or reworking existing listings, like that's part of the listing optimization. So making sure that you're making time for those things that are going to help you get more traffic or get more sales. Okay, increasing your awareness of these are the words that people are using to search for this particular item, and this is my title. These do not work out. Maybe creating a brand new listing for it so you can then split test all of that kind of stuff. So we're doing a brain dump of all of these things, all of these activities. We're doing a brain dump so that way we can use that information to improve our business. Okay. The next thing is that we're going to organize that brain dump for which day we typically do those activities and each one of those tasks. So if you don't already have a day next to it, that's fine. If you do it daily, that's great. If you don't do it daily, that's fine as well. Because again, we're going to go back and we're going to assess, of the things that we're doing in our business, which ones yield us the biggest return, which ones make us the most money, which ones are going to potentially help us to make the most money. So those activities we want to do more of. And the other activities, not going to say we want to do less of because the others are important too, especially, most people avoid the admin related tasks. So don't do that, because it will eventually make you money, okay? Or it help you keep money, or help you stay out of trouble with it, with the IRS. So we're going to engage in going through and figuring out, putting a day next to those things. And the things that don't serve us well, maybe there are things that we're doing in our business that we really are not it's not yielding us a return that is serving us well, or it creates a lot of stress, or whatever it happens to do. Maybe those are opportunities for you to outsource. You can put a little asterisk next to those and say, I want to outsource this in the future. May not be able to do it today. Maybe you're a one-man show. It's okay. I was a one-man show for a very, 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 very long time. And so eventually you get to a place where you get to implement tools that will help automate some of the things that you do, or you're able to hire somebody to help do some of the stuff you do in your business. But again, the only way you'll be able to do that is to know how much you're making, what your profit margins are. So then that way you can say, okay, this is how much I want to save off to be able to hire somebody. Or, these are the things I need to do these days of the week. So, I need to focus 100% here. So after you kind of organize which days, now you need to think about, when are you going to be doing those things? Are they morning, afternoon, or evening? If listing every morning at 7 o'clock in the morning is your jam and that works out for you, and you feel like your most productive time of the day is in the morning, and you're able to get 20 listings created, fantastic, keep doing that. If listing at 8 o'clock at night and it takes you forever, you've only got 3 listings created in the same amount of time that you could do it in the morning, then that's probably not the best time for you to create listings. Mornings may be the better time for you to create listings, but maybe you're challenged with, I work a job, and so I can't create listings in the morning. What do I do now? So it could be that you just make some decisions. I'm going to get up 30 minutes earlier. I'm going to get up an hour earlier. I'm going to maybe streamline some things about my morning routine so I can regain an hour out of it. So if your morning routine is crazy, like, let's review that, so that way maybe we can find an hour in the morning and we can do some things at night to make our morning routine go much better, so we can list for an hour every morning. Again, you want to do things in the natural flow of where, especially those things that yield you the most money, you want to do them in the time where you are most productive. The other part of that is, the things that you need to do but you don't want to do. Like, you got to figure out, when you're going to focus on those things. So from a business standpoint, there may be one day out of the week that makes more sense to do your administrative stuff than any other day of the week. So, don't pick a day in which, it's a heavy shipment day, or a heavy product ordering day, or a heavy whatever it happens to be. Like, there may be a specific day of the week that works better to be able to do those admin tasks that you feel like are draining your brain. And when you do those things, try to do them if they require a significant amount of deep thought. Think about when I can do those where I have the capacity to be able to engage in deep thought. Because sometimes we don't have the capacity to engage in deep thought. Sometimes we are so exhausted that it's like, okay, we can't do this right now because I'm not able to focus at all. All right. So then after we review all of those things, we also want to focus on the goals. So of these tasks, like, which one of these really are mini goals? Like, under your want list, should this be a habit that I'm working to track? A mini goal that I'm working to create? And we'll talk about mini goals in more detail in just a second. But, it's something I'm willing to track. So it's something I want to build a habit of consistency around. If you're not consistent about creating listings, or you're not consistent about checking for shipments, or you're not consistent about some of the other things, then maybe this is one that you put on the list to do a mini goal. And if you do decide that this is a mini habit or a mini goal that you want to track, then make sure that you understand you should be tracking it for at least 30 days. You're not tracking it for 1 week. There's no way for you to build a habit around something, doing something for 1 week, for 7 days. That's not building a habit. And it's doing something consistently over time. That's what's going to build a habit. So if you do something for 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, yeah, you're going to build a habit. It's going to be on autopilot. It'll be part of your natural routine after 90 days for sure. So think about that. Habit stacking, those are the things that you're working to either improve the business process around and put things together that naturally go together, or building a better routine around. So maybe your morning routine and your evening routine are just horrific right now. Those are things that you have the opportunity to reassess and build better routines. And what are all the little incremental action steps that are part of that? Or the actions around creating listings. So I use the example all the time of when I first started creating listings, I was like, it's taking me forever to do this. So I didn't want to create listings. And if you don't create listings, you can't make money because if people can't find the stuff, there's nothing for them to buy. So they got to find your stuff. So if you don't create listings, nobody will ever buy your stuff. So then you're like, this e-commerce thing doesn't work. Well, is it because you're not creating listings? That could be part of it. So what I had to do was I had to look at, what am I creating listings? Am I doing it when I'm most optimized, or am I not doing it when I'm most optimized? And then the second thing is, meaning when I'm most focused and highly productive and I can get a bunch of stuff done. But the second part of that is, also am I uh, going through the process and assessing how I'm creating listings? So if you're disorganized and part of your inventory is still sitting in a bag somewhere because you did retail arbitrage or you did thrifting, and then you haven't taken the tags off of it, and you haven't cleaned it up, or you haven't done keyword research on it, or you haven't taken pictures, or you don't know what price you're going to sell it for, and you don't have a shipping solution for it, like, you're all over the scoreboard when you're sitting down to do listings. So something that could potentially take you 6 minutes to do or 5 minutes to do takes you like 45 minutes, because you got to stop and you got to take the stickers off of it. You got to clean it up. You got to stop. You got to take a picture of it. You got to stop and do some research to see what this thing is selling for, that other people are willing to pay for it. You got to stop and figure out, okay, how am I going to ship this thing? Because then I need to know how much I'm going to put down for shipping. And so if you got to stop and do all that work, you got to go do some keyword research and go figure out what the title might be in the description, and what are the dimensions for this particular product. And, it comes in different colors, blah, blah, blah. So you got to stop and do all this stuff. It's like, that's not helping you create listings faster. Do some of that stuff in advance. Get somebody else to do some of that work stuff for you. Maybe get your kids involved. But some of that stuff that prevents you from literally just sitting down and listing, you need to fix that. Fix that part. Dissect it, peel back the onion, break down each part of it. What are the things that I can do to improve that? And so looking at the habit stacking, the things that naturally occur, the flow of those things, the activities that naturally make sense to go together. If I'm already doing this, I should go ahead and do this. That's part of habit stacking. Again, we'll get into a little bit more of that towards the bottom. Time blocks, allotting time to be able to do these activities. When are you doing them? How are you doing? How much time are you allotting? So if you're new to time blocks, I would encourage you not to create a time block that was less than 1 hour, even if it only takes you 15 minutes to do the activity. Why? Because the first thing you're trying to do is you're trying to build consistency, and you're trying to build a routine, and you're trying to build a habit of doing this activity on a regular basis. And so if customer service takes you 15 minutes to do, meaning checking for reviews and checking for returns and checking for refunds and answering customer questions, and you're done because you don't have a boatload of listings, and you're done in like 15 minutes, okay, fine. You can pair that with something else that maybe doesn't take as much time. Maybe you're doing your shipping audit because you've outsourced shipping. And so you can pair that with shipping audit and just put that in the same hour. Or just leave it as a full hour because maybe you need to pad some time. Maybe you've never worked under a schedule before. So you're underestimating how long something takes. So maybe you've listed 1 hour for listings, but it's taking you 2 hours to actually do the listings. So you can put listings for 1 hour and then put listings and customer service for the next hour. So then that way, again, maybe you've underestimated. So when you're first starting on this journey, you're probably going to underestimate a lot of stuff. And we refer to that as lessons learned. And we want to make sure that we're making a note of all the lessons learned in our business. So we don't want to overlook those things. Checklist, if you're a person that doesn't like to look at your planner and have a bunch of stuff listed, and you would rather just be able to check off boxes or create a to-do list, a daily to-do list, that's fine. Just do your best to put it in sequential order as much as you can, and do your best to make sure it's as inclusive as possible. Again, we talked about creating an inclusive schedule. You don't just run a business in a vacuum. Unless you're single, you don't have any pets, you don't have any family, you don't have anything else going on, you don't have any friends, that's a different story. You should probably make some time to take a brain break and make some friends. But, if you are running your business and you're by yourself, make some time to do different things. And so maybe a to-do list works better for you. And that's fine. Whatever works for you. and then creating goals that are measurable. I talk about becoming $1 million seller. So what's it going to take for you to be $1 million seller? We can start with the basics when it comes to math. So the math is taking $1 million. If it's $1 million in sales or $1 million in profit, because those are two completely different things, guys. Because your profit margins on $1 million in sales might be anywhere from 15 to 35%. I have no idea for you. So you'll know that because you're paying attention to your business. So you'll know what your stats are. Like some things you're going to have amazing stats where it's a 10 or 50, a 35 or 40% margin of your profit, and you're like, yay, this is great. Other things that you may be selling, and you're selling a whole bunch of them, but the profit margins are like 10 or 15%, and that's okay too. Whatever works, so that you can ultimately get to your $1 million goal. But you take that $1 million, you divide it by the remaining number of months in a year, the remaining number of weeks in a year, and the remaining number of days in a year. That gives you your daily goal, your weekly goal, and your monthly goal. Those are the things that you're shooting for. You have to have something to shoot for. Maybe you have a listing goal, and if your listing goal is 10 listings every single day, and then even to be even more specific. So if you are selling a specific niche, and you're serving different areas of the niche. So maybe you've got pets, and so you're focusing 100% on dogs. So maybe, this week it's 100% on dog listings, and next week it's 100% on cat listings. Where's the cord? I don't know, Nicholas. Go look for it. It's not over here. Sorry for the interruption. So maybe you're focused 100% on those types of listings. So you can break down what you're doing in the business to be able to get to those, goals. So creating measurable goals, something you can measure, and something that's intentional, and something that is timely. So we're going to look at the goals, and we're going to figure out which one of these actions or activities that we're doing in our business, where do they fall? Where do they fall? Are they mini goals or habit stacking? There's a routine around it. Do you need to do time blocks? I think time blocks work for a lot of people. And even if you want to break down those time blocks and just, break it down, I do 25-minute segments with a 5-minute break, because you do need breaks over time. Build that into your schedule. Then I would populate your eCom planning weekly section or your Google Sheet. And now we're going to start breaking down the days. We're going to start with filling in the actual schedule. When are we going to do these things? You're going to use this template. You're going to test it for at least 2 to 3 weeks. There's no way that you can create a weekly schedule or your template and not test it out for a period of time. So I have a couple of different templates that I've created, one for when the kids are in school, one for when the kids are not in school, one for Q4, one for when are prepping for Q4, and one for when my son is in track. So if we look at this schedule, and I actually have my own personal one, not up right now, but I actually was working on it earlier because I'm making some adjustments to prepare for the summer. I'm like, the summer is not a surprise, so I plan for it. In any case, I'm showing on my screen an actual outline of a weekly template. This is someone's schedule that I made. It's a fake schedule, and this person is working a full-time job. They're working a 9 to 5. They're doing retail arbitrage, online arbitrage, and drop shipping. This is what they're doing in their business. So this schedule incorporates their kids and their family and grocery shopping and cleaning their house. It incorporates their regular job, their 9 to 5, and doing all that while running an e-commerce business. I think when I added up all the hours, I want to say that they're probably working anywhere from 15 to potentially 20 hours a week in their business. But in any case, on Saturday and Sunday morning, they're taking an hour to do some business planning for their week. They're doing assessment, making sure that they got all the tracking stuff and doing an assessment. They're also going through and engaging in some shipping or listing related activities. So I'm going to start with Monday through Friday first, and I'll come back to Saturday and Sunday so that you can see how I did this. So in the morning, I have them getting up at 7 o'clock, doing their meditation and exercise. And so that meditation may be 15 minutes of meditation, 45 minutes of exercise, or 40 minutes. So that way you have that 5-minute buffer and everything's not so tight. Then the next thing is getting their kids ready for school. So in this example, they got kids and they're getting their kids ready for school and they're prepping for work and they're planning their day. So, that's all at 8 o'clock. So maybe in this example, as I visualize this, it could be that they're sitting down and intentionally spending 15 minutes planning for their day. They're working with their kids for 30 minutes to get the kids out the door and on the bus or whatever, or off to school. And then they're spending 15 minutes, getting themselves ready to get out the door themselves. So from 9 until 6, they're working a job. So 9 to 5 is 9 to 6. Uh, from 9 until 1, they're working their job or and doing the job. And then on their lunch hour, they're engaging in some activities regarding their business. So, in this example, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, they're doing research. That could be product research, that could be listing research, that could be keyword research. But again, you're going to get specific in the actual schedule. So, when you're building the template, you can be specific on what I'm going to be sourcing. And it may not be a full hour. It could be that they're actually doing these things for 30 minutes or 45 minutes because they got to eat lunch. So maybe they're not leaving their desk, maybe they're going out to their car, who knows. What they're going to engage in this activity in this hour in addition to eating lunch. If I wanted to put down eat lunch, I could, but that's okay. And then as I continue down this Monday through Friday routine, um, then the next thing is going back to work. And so from 2 o'clock until 6 o'clock, they're working their job. And at 6, they've got a bunch of activities happening Monday through Friday. So Monday and Friday, it says that they're engaging in a sourcing activity. That could be that they're doing some sourcing on their way home from work. Maybe they're stopping 30 minutes somewhere. Maybe they did some research earlier on their lunch hour. So they're spending 30 minutes on their lunch hour doing some research to know where they're going to stop Monday and Friday. See how I did that there? Then on Tuesdays and Thursdays, they're engaging in a shipping activity. So maybe they packaged up some shipments at night, and so they're dropping off shipments on their way home at 6 o'clock, or they're getting home and they're going through and doing some shipping audits with whoever they've outsourced the shipping to. If they're doing drop shipping, they just want to make sure the shipments went. If they've sent inventory off to their warehouse or fulfillment center, they're just checking to make sure stuff got in. Okay. And then on Sundays, they're engaging in Bible studies. So, I'm sorry, not Sundays, Wednesdays, they're engaging in Bible studies. That's this example. I have dinner Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday at 7 o'clock, and then I have homework with the kids at 8 o'clock. So it's homework with the kids, and then the 9 o'clock, the bedtime routine with the kids. So again, still making time for those things because when you get the kids down, what are they getting ready to do? At 10 o'clock at night, every night, they work in their business. They're creating listings and doing customer service. So they're every single day engaging in something that's going to make them money, and creating listings makes you money. Okay. That's how people buy stuff. If the listing doesn't exist, they can't buy anything. And then at 11 o'clock, they're prepping to get ready to go to bed and whatever that nighttime routine is. And they're going to bed at 11 o'clock. So that's Monday through Friday. And that's me working through a person that has a full time job. Now, on the weekends, I'm flanked on each side, Saturday and Sunday. So we'll go with Sunday. Sunday, they're getting up, and I said before, at 7 o'clock on both Saturday and Sunday, they're doing planning. On Saturday and Sunday at 8 o'clock, they're engaged in an activity around maybe you have a VA doing research for you. Maybe the VA is creating listings for you. Maybe the VA is auditing inventory or doing some of your administrative stuff. Maybe the VA is, who knows, looking at catalogs and suggesting products that you could be selling. So, whatever that is, checking in with your VAs on Saturday and Sunday morning. And then on each side, I have listing or shipping. Again, depending on how long that conversation is, it could be a 30-minute conversation. So when that is done, maybe I engage in some listing related activities, or I've got some shipments that I need to get out and go drop them off at the UPS store, or check to see that things got checked in if I'm not physically doing listings myself. And then on Sunday, spending 3 hours at church, and then after church, 3 hours with your family. And then after that, 3 hours doing shipments. What? Well, why am I doing that? Because on Saturday, I did 3 hours of sourcing. So again, if this example is retail arbitrage, online arbitrage, and drop shipping, I did 3 hours of sourcing on Saturday, so I'm gonna have 3 hours worth of shipping on Sunday. And that could be shipping to your fulfillment center, whatever works for you. And then as I go down Sunday, as I'm looking at the schedule that I created, and again, this is a fake schedule, they're engaging in weekly household prep. This is where I talk about meal prepping and meal planning makes life a whole lot easier. So when you sit down to have dinner, you can just sit down and have dinner. You can spend 10 minutes heating up something or 5 minutes heating up something, and then you can just sit down and have some quiet time to focus and to digest your food versus speed eating because you spent 45 minutes prepping dinner. You're not doing that. You're reducing your stress. So if you do some meal prepping, some meal planning, getting the kids to get their school clothes together, that's what I do. On Sunday, spending 2 hours doing that, and then weekly prep, anything you need to do for your business, that's weekly prep, knocking that out. Maybe weekly prep is, making sure that all of those shipments that you just packaged up for shipping to go to your warehouse are stacked up over in the corner and they're ready to go or they're near the front door so that way, or you're contacting USPS to say, hey, you have a pickup tomorrow morning, a porch pickup, whatever it is, getting yourself prepared for success that week. And then we do have an hour allotted for education in our e-commerce business. Again, we're working to incrementally over time get better at whatever that is, something. So you got to make time for it. You have to be intentional about making time about getting better at something. So, or learning something. Maybe you don't know your back office reports. And then we have a business, eCom, sorry, admin business activity that we do at 10 o'clock. So that is happening on Saturday and Sunday. If I go to Saturday, again, going back to regular life, so on Saturday mornings, taking the kids after I work with my VA, spending 2 hours in kids' sports. Maybe they have soccer or baseball in the morning. Then going grocery shopping. That's something you got to do for your household. So you got to do that. You got to make time for that. You could order groceries and have them all dropped off. So maybe you just order groceries at 11 o'clock so they can be dropped off. And that's fine too. If you don't want to physically go anywhere, if you're not ready to wrangle the kids, like, look, I need to buy back some time or I need to reduce my stress. And ordering online reduces my stress. So therefore, I'm not going to the store. And then cleaning up the house and doing laundry. Again, if you want chaos, that's fine. If you don't want chaos, you got to make some time to organize and clean up your house. Or maybe you hire a housekeeper, and that's when the housekeeper comes. And while the housekeeper's there, you get the kids to engage in cleaning at the same time. So you kill two birds with one stone. You teach them how to clean up, and you get the housekeeper to do some work. So again, this is just a fake schedule. And then we have sourcing for 3 hours on Saturday, listing for at least 1 hour on Saturday. And then we have dinner and then family time for at least 2 hours in the evening, and then doing administrative stuff at 10 o'clock after the kids go to bed. So, again, that's an example of a schedule for a person that's working a full time job. Whereas another template schedule that I created was for someone that works from home. So, this is a stay at home mom in this example, and this stay at home mom is doing retail arbitrage, online arbitrage, and she is, hold on, let me just see what she's doing, print on demand and drop shipping. Okay, so she's doing some POD. So in this example, her schedule is the same Monday through Friday. She does her exercise and meditation in the morning. She gets the kids off to school at 8 o'clock. So meditation and exercise at 7 o'clock. 8 o'clock, she's getting the kids ready for school, going through the morning routine with the kids, dropping them off, whatever, getting to the bus. And then at 9 o'clock, she's clocking into her business. And Monday through Friday, 9 o'clock, she's working from 9 until 2 every day. So the first thing is her first hour of the day is product research or keyword research or listing research. Hour number 2, that's 9 o'clock. 10 o'clock is sourcing. So she's engaging in sourcing. That could be sourcing going out, or that could be sourcing staying in and doing online arbitrage, or doing sourcing for her print on demand products or her drop shipping. At 11 o'clock, she's engaging in a listing activity for at least 1 hour. So on Wednesdays and Fridays, it looks like she goes out and does some physical sourcing. So she's spending 2 hours outsourcing, and she's probably being intentional on where she goes. So it's a focused source versus just a random source. Like, I'm specifically going to XYZ because I know I can get blah, blah, blah there. Because why? I did research earlier. I know where it is, or I did research earlier in the week. One of the things I used to do is I used to do my deep research on Sundays. I would figure out what niche I was going to sell for the week, and I would do deep research for that earlier, like on Sundays, for at least 2 hours. And what that does for me is when I am running around taking my kids to speech therapy, occupational therapy, ABA therapy, on my way home or on my way there, I could stop at a specific place, grab something because it was in my drive path. And I already knew what to grab because I did my research on Sunday. So it makes it a lot more efficient, and you can kill two birds with one stone. I literally could run into the store, clear the shelf of 50 things, hop in the car, and then drive off to, drive home or whatever. So being intentional. So in this example, I'm sure this person is intentional because she's running a tight ship here. In addition to that, at 12 o'clock, she's working on creating listings and she's shipping items, or she's shipping items, or she's checking on shipments. So again, she's running different business models. So she's going to engage, varying times. Then at 1 o'clock, she's engaging in administrative activities on Mondays and Fridays, on Tuesdays and Thursdays, marketing related activities, and on Wednesdays, education related activities. Again, you can figure out what works for you, but this is an example of a person that is working in their business Monday through Friday from 9 to 2. And then at 2 o'clock, she engages in the household and cleaning and laundry stuff because her kids are coming home. She's running errands, or maybe she's picking up her kids and at the same time running errands at 3 o'clock, grabbing the groceries, whatever. And then, and I hope that that's not the case, but that's okay. This is just the fake schedule. And then the next thing is she's got family time from 4 until 7 o'clock. She's engaged in stuff with her until 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock. She's engaged in stuff with her family, Monday through Friday. So it's all about family time, homework, kids' bedtime routine. So at 9 o'clock, it's her personal time to do whatever she wants to do, whether it's veg out, read a book, um, binge watch a show, whatever that happens to be. It's her personal time because she worked in her business earlier in the day. And then she's prepping for the evening at 10 o'clock and going to bed, and she starts it all over again. So that's an example of, Monday through Friday, a stay at home mom. And then on Saturdays and Sundays, so Sundays, it doesn't look like, I don't think she's working in her business at all on Sundays. But on Saturdays, let me see if I can get this thing to go up. There we go. But on Saturday, she is engaging in her business. So Sunday, she's not doing anything in her business in this example, except for maybe an hour on Sunday morning, 2 hours on Sunday morning. Outside of that, she's not doing anything in her business. Okay. And then on Saturdays, so Sundays are all about her family and spending time with them and doing things with them. And that's really great, and being present. And then on Saturdays, she's got the kids' sports. She does do some sourcing because she does retail arbitrage. She does do some shipments because, again, she does retail arbitrage and online arbitrage. Maybe she's doing some thrifting. And then she's got family time from 5 o'clock on. So, she's figured out how to balance it. I think in this example, this person's working at least 30 hours, 30 to 31 hours a week in their business, and they're able to run $1 million business by doing what she's doing. Now, I'm confident over time, like, you want to outsource some of these activities to other people, but the point is, she's a one-woman show, and she's running an e-commerce business, and she's using the model of using templates. So that's how you can build that out. In the way that I walk through that, you can see it directly in the e-commerce planning Facebook group, how I built that schedule out. And again, these are fake template schedules. Now, after you create the template, the next thing is to create the actual. The actual is extremely important, but you can't do the actual unless you build the template. The reason we care about the actual, because that's where you say exactly what you are doing. Okay. In addition to that, that's going to make your daily activity sections or sessions much faster. So you got your template. Now we're going to go fill in what we're actually doing. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to review the monthly plan so we can make sure we know what our monthly goals are: income producing goals, operational goals, marketing goals, all of those things. So we're going to go through the monthly plan and make sure we're taking that into account, because as we look at the monthly plan, we're going into the third full week of April. So since this is the third full week of April, what did we have on our monthly plan of things that we wanted to focus on the third full week of April? So maybe we're focused on Father's Day gifts. Maybe we're focused on back to school the third full week of April. Maybe we're focused on, summer blockbusters the third full week of April. I have no idea. So you're figuring out what you're focused on, or maybe you're focused on snacks because you're getting back to school stuff and you sell food. Like maybe that's what your business is you sell food, snacks. So in any case, we're going to look at the monthly plan. We want to make sure we take into account what are the goals that we're shooting for the month of April. This is the third full week. So have we met all the other goals? And do we need to put some stuff on this week to prepare to make sure that we meet all the April goals? Number two, we're going to go through and we're going to determine what the priorities are for this week. There's probably at least 5 things that are the top priority for the week that you need to be doing this week, probably based off of what you're reading on your monthly plan. And some of those priorities could not have anything to do with your business. For me, the priority was getting the taxes done. Yes, that has to do with my business and personal, but getting my son's IEP, his goals, making sure that I know what his 2023 schedule is. That has nothing to do with my e-commerce business, but it does have to do with making sure that I'm not caught off guard and surprised next year and stressed out because my son is not successful in school. So I'm being intentional and I'm reducing my stress by making intentional decisions now. So I determined that that was a priority, making sure that I know what his, IEP goals are, and then also what his schedule is going to be for next year so he can be successful. So I made time to focus on that. Probably spent about 6 to 8 hours this week working on that. So that was a priority for the week. And so write down what are the things that are most important for you in your personal life and your business. And you probably will have more business stuff than you will personal, but don't overlook the opportunity to put down some personal stuff that is a priority for the week. Then the next is, what are the things I want to build habits around? Maybe I am not drinking enough water. Maybe I'm not walking enough. Maybe I am not doing enough keyword research. Maybe I'm not, whatever it happens to be. So we're going to build some habits around that. And that's something we're going to focus on for at least 30, 60, 90 days. This is not just for this week. This is what did I have on my habit tracker for last week and the week before that and the week before that before I roll something off. There's no way for you to build a habit in 1 week. It's just not possible. It's not happening. Okay. And then the next thing is, so write down those habits that you want to track. And then the next thing in your actual is, this is where you're going to put in the what. So after you've kind of assessed what this week is going to look like and you take into account anything that's coming up, maybe your parents are coming to visit because it's Easter, or maybe you're going to a family reunion, or maybe you've got travel for your job, or maybe you got whatever it happens to be. You're going to have to make adjustments from your template when you create your actual. Okay, so maybe your template is not going to go exactly the way you want it to this week, and that's fine. You may have a temporary disruption in your plan or your routine, but you still need to do the things that you say that you're habit tracking. Even if you are tracking like the number of listings you create, if you say you're doing 10 a week, and then this week, because you have to leave for travel for your work, then instead of listing 10 items a day, maybe it's 1 item a day, so you can keep engaging in the habit of creating a listing. You don't break the habit, you continue to do it. So you go from 10 to 1, but temporarily just for this week. Or maybe you focus on taxes, whatever it happens to be. So what the action, this is where we're going to say what the what is. So what are the products that you're doing research on, and that you are, what are the research activities that you're engaging in? What are those things? What are the items that you're listing this week? We're going to be intentional. So most of us know that you need to create your listings in advance if you want to start getting the sales. You don't create your listings for Easter, the week of Easter. You don't do that. You create your listings for Easter in like February, or even sometimes January. So you don't do it, the week of. So I'm not necessarily creating listings for, Easter this week. I'm creating listings for maybe back to school, or I'm creating listings for Father's Day, or I'm creating listings for whatever. So what are the listings I'm creating? What are the things that I'm shipping, or what are the shipping related activities I'm engaging in? So maybe I'm shipping off all of my Father's Day stuff to my warehouse this week. So I'm being intentional on what I am doing. What am I sourcing? So if I'm engaging in sourcing related activities, what am I sourcing? What am I sourcing? So I might be sourcing for the fall. Who knows? I don't know. Are you sourcing for the fall? You might be. And then What am I learning? I'm being intentional. So if my plan is to get better at ads, am I learning Google ads this week and next week? And then the week after that, I'm doing Facebook ads. And then for 2 weeks. And then the week after that, 2 weeks after that, I'm doing Instagram ads. Like, what am I learning? And then administrative tasks. What are those administrative tasks I'm engaging in this week? So taxes are due Monday. So what am I doing? My business. What administrative activities am I engaging in? So I can tell you when we do the monthly planning session, the first 2 weeks or the first week of the month, like the administrative activity goes up. So instead of allotting 2 hours or 1 hour or whatever you've got on your schedule, like probably going to engage in 5 hours or 6 hours just for the administrative side of things. But that's the first full week of the month. And then you can go back down to, a couple of hours for week 2, week 3, and week 4 of the month. And then last but not least, what are you focusing on for yourself, this week? Spiritually, like is the women's conference at your church happening this week? Is there a friend coming in from out of town that you need to make sure you make time for on your schedule? Because we're working to regain control of our schedule and where we're wasting time or spending time, and to be a little more organized in our business and a little more efficient. Am I exercising? Am I meeting with a personal trainer this week? So what are those weekly activities I need to engage in? So I've already told you we do meal planning, we do meal prep. And so we cook for the week on Saturdays. That's just part of our routine. It doesn't change. And so it makes my life a whole lot easier throughout the week when I've assigned for my kids. Your job is to cook. So if your job is to cook, you cook on Saturday. Well, not just cook, but if your job is to, heat up the food for everybody. Each one of my boys, they get a task. So Monday and Tuesday, Tony heats up the food. Wednesday and Thursday, Nicholas heats up the food. And then Friday, they have pizza. We have a routine. And then the next thing is that we do meal prep on Saturday, and everybody helps to cook. So it is not mom in the kitchen the whole time. You got to learn how to cook. I'm not going to live forever, so you need to know how to prepare some food. So that's what we do. And then the other thing is you can use your actual weekly schedule to help you engage in your daily activities in your e-commerce business. So again, being intentional on how you structure your day and your week is going to help you make a different or better decisions in your e-commerce business over time. So a couple of the goal things that we talked about earlier, and hopefully this has been helpful for you. Next week, we'll actually do the planning starting from the goal, and then we'll work on the schedule next. But we'll start from the goal. So the first one is the mini habits. And again, you can download this document from the e-commerce planning Facebook group. So if you don't know, my name is Nicole Whitlock. I'm with eCom Sellers. My passion is helping people get organized in their e-commerce business so they can become the $1 million seller they've always wanted to be. And if you are a person that feels like you need to be a little more organized and structured in your e-commerce business, I'd be happy to sit down with you and help you along your journey. If you're looking for an accountability partner, I'd be happy to help you. You can connect with me, schedule a 20-minute coaching session by going to ecomsellers.com and clicking on coaching for a free 20-minute coaching session. You can also grab the eCom planner. The My eCom planner is where you can put all this stuff so you can track your activity in your business every day and every week and every month so you reach your $1 million goal. That's the goal that I have for you. So you can go to myecomplanner.com, grab the digital version or the physical version of the eCom planner to help you on your e-commerce journey. So we are talking about mini habits, mini goals, first of all. So a mini habit is a very small positive behavior that you force yourself to do every day. It's too small to fail. So I started off with, okay, if one of the habits that you're challenged with right now is that you're not doing, is you're not listing, then you can start off with, for 2 weeks, I'm going to list 1 item per day. That's fine. Then after 2 weeks after that, you'll go to 3 items per day. Okay, great. Building up and strengthening that habit. Then for 3 items a day, 5 items a day for 2 weeks, and then 7 items a day for 2 weeks, and then 10 items a day. And now hopefully you've established a habit of, I'm going to list something every single day. No matter what, it doesn't matter if it's 1 item or 10 items. Every day I'm going to engage in the habit of listing, period, no matter what. That's the goal, to build a habit of listing. The other thing is, if it's too small to fail, sometimes we know that even if we created a small goal that we're trying to reach, you're probably going to do more than that. So you could say, as part of your fitness routine, I'm going to do one push-up today. Well, the reality is you're probably going to do more than one push-up. You're probably going to do at least 3 or 4. Even if you're out of shape, you're going to do a couple more than just one. But it's okay. All you're being forcing yourself to do is just one in this routine that you're building the habit around. So be intentional about what it is and be specific on what it is you want to do. The next one is habit stacking. And this is the idea by clustering habits that you want to develop and sustain. We stand a better chance of remembering them and by associating those related tasks with each other. The habit stacking allows you to organize these habits in a way such that it makes logical sense for the way your day works every single day. So you stack them, you cluster things together. One of the perfect ones that I like to associate is your routine. What is your listing routine? What is your morning routine? What is your evening routine? What is your shipping routine? What are your routines? And so, what are all the action steps that are associated with listing? Break those down and you can dissect them. And what can you improve in each one of those steps? So, if you line them up like an assembly line, write them down on a piece of paper and put them on a flat desk, flat table. Each one of those, evaluate each one of those action steps separately. And if you have the opportunity to improve something in each one of them, then do that. Do that. Same thing with, your evening routine or your morning routine. Look at your morning routine. Is it all over the board? Is it a scatter diagram or is it actually focused? So go through that process of organizing that routine. Time blocks. So it's blocking time. You can use the Pomodoro method, which is like 25 minutes, blocking 25 minutes and then having a 5-minute break. I like that method, but if time blocking is new to you, I suggest you just make sure that you put a block of an hour until you get used to blocking time and breaking it down to 30 minutes. If you're a person that you're a little more free spirited, doing time blocks may actually make you crazy. And I'm not trying to introduce new stress. I'm not. But we do want a little more structure and organization in our life. Okay, so there's some things that we can do to improve that. So instead of using time blocks, maybe you do to-do lists where you break things down by morning, afternoon, and evening. So you don't have as much structure. We're not trying to stress you out. You can just say, okay, these are the 5 things I need to get done in the morning. These are the 5 things I need to get done in the afternoon, and 5 things I want to focus on in the evening. And there you go. So indirectly, you're building a similar structure, but you're not forcing yourself to a specific time because I'm not trying to increase your anxiety and stress. If you don't get it done by 9 o'clock, I don't need you thinking that you need to jump off a cliff. It's not that big of a deal. It's not that big of a deal. So figure out if checklists and to-do lists work better for you. And it might. And then SMART goals. So SMART goals are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, or realistic, and timely. They are time bound. So if I am going to focus on creating listings and going, as I gave you the example before, start off with 1 listing every single day for 2 weeks, then 3 listings every single day for 2 weeks, 5 listings every single day for 2 weeks, 7. So you're literally giving yourself a 2-week window to keep doing these things. That's one. And you're setting a number that you're working to achieve. Okay. So if you're sourcing for Q4 and you're like, I want to find 50 products that I want to sell for Q4, you're going to have to do some product research around that. And then you got to find the sourcers or sourcing backups for each one of them. So again, you want to set a timeline. When do you want to begin the process of deciding what it is you think you want to sell those 50 products? That doesn't mean that you won't have more than 50. It's just saying, I'm going to be intentional and I'm going to source at least these 50 products right now so I have them for Q4. And then, figuring out who you're going to source them from, finding suppliers. Maybe your plan or strategy is to have 3 backup suppliers for everything that you sell for Q4. Okay, fine. Again, starting that process. When are you going to do it? That's a SMART goal. It's relevant. It's related to what you do in your e-commerce business. It's measurable. So you can determine whether or not you achieve the goal of having 3 for each one of your products. How much time are you going to allow yourself to do this? Are you going to do this over a 2-week span, 4-week span? What are you doing it? So measuring and giving yourself a time to do it and being specific about it. So creating those goals on what you want to achieve in your business is going to be helpful. So with that being said, and also in the eCom planning document, there's a whole bunch of other goal related and activity related tasks that are on this amazing document that you can use. But those are the main ones that I would encourage you to look at. So this is what I want you to do. I want you to sit down. I want you to create your weekly template if you haven't already done it. If you have, now it's time to build out your actual. What are you going to focus on this week? What are you going to focus on? And be intentional about those what's so that way you can continue to move the needle in your e-commerce business. You can reach your goals. So I hope this information is helpful to you. I hope it's a blessing to your business. And my prayer, my wish, my goal for you is that you actually reach your goals. So my name is Nicole Whitlock. I am with eCom Sellers. My passion is helping people on their e-commerce journey to achieve those goals, to help them to get to that $1 million seller status. And I believe that you can achieve that by being more consistent, being more productive, being more focused, and being more organized in your e-commerce business. One of the ways that you can do all of those things, all of those that I just mentioned, was to grab the eCom planner, or you can also attend our daily, weekly, and monthly e-commerce planning sessions to help you make better decisions in your business, intentional decisions in your business, so you can achieve those goals. So if you want to schedule some time, you can. You can go to ecomsellers.com and click on the coaching session. Click on coaching to schedule a 20-minute coaching session with me. It's absolutely free. You can also buy the ecom planner at myecomplanner.com. You can get the digital version or the physical version, and let's go through and let's build the goals and the habits and the routines in our business that are going to help us get to that $1 million status. And with that, I pray that you have an amazingly blessed day, week, Easter, and month. Good luck, guys. God bless. And I hope this is a blessing. So share this out with a friend. We're going to say goodbye for now. Bye, y'all.